I just heard shots ring out and then got shot at. So I know there's no way he could have made it out of the car.
I told you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
We know something's wrong with you, but it's okay, because M said it's okay, Dre said it's okay.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with this.
If I wouldn't have never met him, I wouldn't have never been involved in this bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never made a call to Diddy. I got Diddy's number. Just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
And the winner is Eminem, the Eminem Show.
Diddy's influence stretched into every corner of the industry, from high-powered politicians and wealthy billionaires to legendary figures in rap and the biggest icons of Hollywood. He was the person everyone wanted to be connected with, the ultimate gatekeeper. At one point, even 50 Cent was moving alongside him, navigating that world, before their once close friendship eventually dissolved into a full-blown rivalry.
Get your hand out my pocket. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing on the channel. Get your hand out my pocket, man. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, man. Yeah, you gonna make me. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now.
Among all the names in the music industry, there was one figure who never stepped foot into Diddy's world. One artist who never let himself get pulled into the web of connections, no matter how influential or deep they ran. That artist was Eminem. From the very beginning, he made it clear he wanted nothing to do with Diddy's empire. Not in the late 90s, not in the 2000s, and not ever. While others were drawn into the glamorous parties, the behind-the-scenes maneuvering, and the intricate power plays, Marshall Mathers stayed far removed. He kept his circle tight and his distance even tighter. By the time Eminem released that track, the tension between him and Diddy was far from new. For years, he had been quietly sending shots and clever disses toward him. Back when Eminem was still a hungry underground artist fighting for recognition, Diddy was already perched at the top of the hip-hop throne, a powerful businessman with money, influence, and one of the hottest labels in the game, Bad Boy Records. For most artists, landing a deal with Bad Boy would have been the ultimate dream. But Eminem wasn't chasing that path. From day one, he had his eyes set on a different lane, one he believed in completely. Instead of following the flashy, high-profile route, he signed with Aftermath Records and teamed up with Dr. Dre, determined to build a legacy that would leave an indelible mark on hip-hop. Here's the wild part. Even before the fame, before anyone outside Detroit really knew his name, Eminem had already taken a bold, fearless shot at Puff in 1996 on his raw underground track Effing Crazy. That early line wasn't just a diss, it was a warning. It announced that Eminem had no fear when it came to challenging the power players who ran the industry. Even when the odds were stacked against him, he refused to back down. And it wasn't just Diddy he held this energy toward. Eminem also carried tension with another industry giant, Suge Knight, the notorious head of Death Row Records, the label that once dominated the West Coast and was home to legends like Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre. Suge's reputation went far beyond his influence. It was rooted in fear. People whispered about him like he was the ultimate boogeyman of hip-hop, the one you never crossed if you valued your life. Suge didn't build his empire with kindness or respect. He built it through intimidation, chaos, and complete control. His philosophy was simple. Power always came first, mercy came last.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Eminem didn't give a single thought to Suge Knight's fearsome street reputation. None of it fazed him. That unshakable, fearless attitude became perfectly clear during an unforgettable moment on the set of 50 Cent's Into Club music video. Out of nowhere, Suge Knight showed up, rolling in deep with a crew of Mexican gangsters, making it unmistakably clear that he still commanded influence and respect on the streets. The tension skyrocketed instantly. Everyone on set could feel it. The presence of Suge Knight always meant trouble. But Eminem didn't flinch. He didn't duck. He didn't even hesitate for a second. He stood firm, unshaken, showing everyone present just how little he feared the so-called boogeyman of hip-hop.
Suge's outside. Suge's outside. Everybody like, he was running, dropping.
So Suge came, he had some Mexican niggas. Now, we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street crew. I'm like, what the fuck?
Eminem didn't retreat for even a single second. He didn't flinch, he didn't hesitate. Instead of staying safely inside or relying on security to handle the situation, he walked straight outside and confronted Suge Knight and his entire crew head-on. There was no hesitation. No second thoughts. Just raw, unwavering confidence. Every person on set could feel the tension thick in the air, almost like it was tangible. And yet, Eminem stood his ground with a kind of presence that demanded attention, like he had something to prove not just to Suge, but to everyone watching. That moment wasn't merely bold, it was unforgettable. Legendary.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a man. This is when I 50 niggas outside, what's up? And then the nigga Suge just walked away. The Mexican niggas looked kind of confused, like they didn't know what was going on.
Following that intense confrontation, Eminem refused to simply move on. He headed directly into the recording studio and laid down an entire diss track targeted squarely at Suge Knight. But here's the unexpected turn. The public never heard it at the time. Because Dr. Dre intervened and urged him to calm down, explaining that it wasn't his fight to wage. Dre wanted to maintain harmony, fully aware of how far-reaching and dangerous Suge's influence could be. But that track didn't remain hidden indefinitely. Years afterward, it surfaced online. And wow, it was ferocious. Every single bar landed like a sledgehammer, revealing exactly how profound that animosity ran between Eminem and Suge Knight. If Eminem possessed the courage to confront Suge Knight face-to-face, one of the most intimidating personalities in hip-hop history, then why in the world would he ever feel intimidated by Diddy? That's the genuine question. When you examine everything Puff has been linked to throughout the years, it's truly difficult to determine who wielded greater power or who posed a bigger threat. Suge carried that raw street aura, but Diddy operated the game from within the industry itself, manipulating levers from behind the curtain. But returning to M, he wasn't finished firing subliminals. In 2000, on his Marshall Mathers LP, he directed shots right back at Diddy yet again. The line itself wasn't the harshest he'd ever delivered, but it still held significant weight. An unmistakable signal that Eminem had no intention of playing friendly with hip-hop's upper echelon. Then arrived another line, one that elevated the intensity to an entirely different level. Eminem referenced Diddy's girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez. Music, and let's just say his lyrics depicted a far more sinister scenario than before. It wasn't some playful jab. It was raw, unsettling, and designed to provoke discomfort. Music. That bar forced people to stop and think, recognizing that M wasn't restraining himself when it came to exposing Diddy or anyone associated with him. Then Eminem unleashed another twisted line. I have a son and a new brother at the same time, and just say that it ain't mine. What's my name? That lyric surprised everyone. It was outrageous, music, darkly humorous, and obviously intended to create chaos. But Diddy, he didn't respond with a single word. No diss track, no statement, nothing. Music. Still, you could sense he didn't find it amusing in the slightest. Even with those daring shots being thrown, there was never a full-blown public feud between Eminem and Diddy during the early 2000s. Both were too occupied building their own empires. Eminem was conquering the charts with multi-platinum albums under Dr. Dre's mentorship, while Sean Combs, constantly evolving his persona, was expanding the bad boy empire even further, transitioning from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy and then simply Diddy. Their paths didn't truly intersect, except for occasional appearances at award shows and major industry gatherings where both were regarded as hip-hop royalty. One of those moments occurred in 2003 when Diddy personally presented Eminem with a Grammy for Best Rap Album. The audience cheered, cameras flashed, but if you observe closely, the atmosphere between them appeared frosty. There was a subtle tension hanging in the air, like both men understood there was far more backstory behind those forced smiles than they were revealing.
And the winner is Eminem, The Eminem Show.
It's noteworthy that Diddy himself has consistently acknowledged Eminem's skill, regardless of whatever underlying friction existed. In a 2003 Rolling Stone interview, Sean Combs actually discussed Eminem with genuine admiration, describing him as one of the greatest MCs to ever grip a microphone. He said, I think Eminem's up there with the best of it. Diddy even emphasized that Biggie and Tupac were, quote, a different caliber. But in his view, Eminem was still extraordinary in his own category. That instance demonstrated Diddy wasn't oblivious to Marshall's influence. He offered him public props, even when many assumed he wouldn't. Still, music, through the intricate network of industry relationships, their paths continued crossing in unexpected ways. Back in the early 2000s, Diddy had interest in an emerging talent, 50 Cent, but that signing never materialized. The story is Diddy declined to sign him because of 50's active street conflict with Ja Rule, which made the situation too volatile for Bad Boy Records. That single choice altered hip-hop history. 50 Cent ultimately signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre instead, forming one of the most impactful alliances in rap music. Together, they moved tens of millions of records, elevating 50 to worldwide stardom and establishing him as a mutual link between M and Diddy. After that, things stayed quiet for years until 2015 when everything became chaotic once more. A Bombshell documentary released, Murder Rap, Inside the Biggie and Tupac Murders, where retired LAPD Detective Greg Kading alleged that Diddy supposedly commissioned Tupac's murder for $1 million and that one of the shooters was Keef D. The instant those claims spread online, 50 Cent didn't hesitate to pile on. He publicly supported the accusation, stating Diddy might have truly been responsible for Pac's death. That declaration revived long-dormant suspicions and pulled Diddy's name back into one of hip-hop's most haunting unsolved cases.
I told you you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
Eminem eventually weighed in as well. Though several years later in 2018, he released the now infamous diss track Kill Shot directed squarely at Machine Gun Kelly. The entire hip-hop community was electrified when it landed. M wasn't merely protecting his reputation. He was asserting to everyone who still dominated the microphone. And amid all those razor-sharp verses, he inserted a line that grabbed widespread attention. One that quietly connected back to Diddy, igniting a fresh cycle of speculation and discussion. But then arrived the closing line of Kill Shot, the one that stunned everybody. Eminem concluded the song with, "I'm just playing, Diddy. You know I love you." That solitary bar set the internet ablaze. Fans couldn't stop debating. Was M being sarcastic, or was there a concealed meaning underneath? The arguments were non-stop. Some viewed it as typical Eminem wit. Others believed there could have been a sliver of reality in the statement, particularly given their past. Social media erupted and hip-hop message boards were flooded with theories. And then reports emerged from insider sources. According to Joe Budden on his podcast, Diddy wasn't amused at all. When Kill Shot released, Combs was reportedly livid after listening to the track. Music, that seemingly light-hearted, "you know, I love you" line abruptly didn't feel so innocent anymore. It felt like M was prodding at something much deeper, something that struck a raw nerve.
Now let's talk some hip hop shit, man. I want to talk to Puff right now.
Yes.
Now it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah. Check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect. But I appreciate you as a journalist asking.
All right.
Thank you.
And I said,
back in the day, Diddy could effortlessly dismiss Eminem's digs like they were insignificant. Music. But this time, it was different. That Kill Shot line sliced far too close to a topic he desperately wanted to avoid. For Diddy, the subject of Tupac has always been profoundly touchy. It's the one issue that immediately alters his entire mood. Whenever those inquiries arise, he shuts them down, evades music, or redirects the conversation entirely. So, when Eminem nonchalantly linked his name to that long-standing rumor, it wasn't merely a diss. It was a trigger. That's why Diddy couldn't remain composed this time. It struck a nerve that's been troubling him for decades. One he's done everything possible to keep suppressed.
I ain't never made a call to Diddy, really? I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
Later on, when Eminem discussed his beef with Machine Gun Kelly in an interview, he revealed a small detail that carried huge implications. He suggested that he and Diddy weren't linked in any way, not even personally. In fact, he emphasized they didn't possess each other's phone numbers and there was absolutely no direct contact between them. That straightforward remark conveyed everything. No friendship, no partnership, just two influential forces in hip-hop existing in entirely separate spheres.
Suge just ducked his head, and the first bullet went in his head, so the next one's hit him.
You'd think after everything that transpired in 2018, Eminem and Diddy would maintain distance permanently, but nope. Just a few years later, their names surfaced together once again. In 2020, Eminem released his album Music to Be Murdered By. And on the powerful lead single Godzilla, he included another brief reference to Diddy. It wasn't an outright diss or anything, but fans noticed it immediately. Music. It was just sufficient to remind everybody that the underlying friction between the two still simmered. But that period of relative quiet didn't endure. By June 2020, things escalated again when a previously unreleased Eminem verse unexpectedly leaked online. It was recorded a year prior for the remix of Conway the Machine's track Bang. And this version packed serious heat. In the verse, Eminem targeted Diddy's media outlet, Revolt TV, criticizing them in a blunt and unforgiving manner. The delivery was cutting. No softening the edges whatsoever. The leak promptly sparked a minor uproar throughout the hip-hop world, with fans arguing whether Eminem was rekindling his long-standing issues with Diddy or simply expressing annoyance with the media landscape. Shout the puffy curls, music. But less than a day after that leak gained traction, Eminem addressed it directly. He swiftly issued a statement on Twitter acknowledging that the verse was crafted in a moment of frustration and was never intended for release. He clarified that he respected Revolt TV and wanted no conflict with Diddy or his associates. The apology arrived quickly, but it couldn't halt the speculation. People were already discussing whether lingering unspoken tension still existed between the two legends. But the most dramatic element of this whole saga came not from Eminem, music, but from Diddy himself. By the fall of 2023, everything surrounding him started to collapse. Multiple women stepped forward with grave accusations of sexual assault and abuse, creating a troubling portrait of events behind the scenes. The greatest bombshell arrived when Cassie, Diddy's longtime former girlfriend, filed a lawsuit detailing years of alleged mistreatment, physical violence, and manipulation. The specifics shocked the entire entertainment industry. And just when the situation seemed as bleak as possible, another bombshell emerged. Keefe D., the same individual long rumored to possess information about Tupac's murder, was arrested. What made it even more astonishing was that prior to his arrest, he'd been conducting YouTube interviews, openly discussing his ties to Diddy, and even alleging that Puff once requested his assistance in dealing with Tupac, a killing he confessed to participating in himself. The developments sent ripples through the music industry, resurrecting decades-old questions that many believed would never re-emerge. Capitalizing on all that turmoil, Eminem returned with greater force than ever. He released his album The Death of Slim Shady. And this time he showed no restraint regarding Diddy whatsoever. One song in particular, Bad Music, had everybody discussing it. In it, M delivers pointed cryptic lines that appear to allude to the notorious Diddy parties, the same ones people online have speculated about for years. He raps and me offering you is nothing new. Music. It's what I love to do. This is subterfuge just to screw with you. And music. Yeah, this much is true. That verse struck like a hurricane. Playful on the surface, but music, loaded with implications that fans couldn't overlook. People instantly began analyzing the lyrics, questioning if Eminem was aiming directly at Diddy again, employing his masterful wordplay to generate a fresh surge of debate. On another track titled Antichrist, Eminem ventured into even gloomier territory. In this song, Marshall referenced the disturbing video that emerged depicting Diddy allegedly assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie. It was a stark callback to the headlines that had shaken the entertainment world only months before. Eminem didn't soften anything. He incorporated that harrowing incident directly into his lyrics, using it to underscore how drastically Diddy's public image had deteriorated. The mention was short, but it landed with crushing force. But the harshest, most devastating shots at Diddy appeared on the track Fuel. This was the point where Eminem fully unleashed. No restrictions, no restraint. Every bar felt intensely personal, music, brimming with malice and accuracy. Fans could immediately recognize this wasn't simply another rap punchline. It was a complete declaration, a lyrical demolition targeted at Diddy's legacy. Fuel didn't merely criticize him. It incinerated everything associated with his name. In Fuel, Eminem delivers one of his most provocative wordplays ever. He raps are spelled without AP, spells raper or music rapist, then twists it further by saying, and the essay's short for sexual assault. It was a savage double entendre, one that left everyone speechless. Then without pausing, he continues with, R.I.P., rest in peace, Biggie and Pac. Both of y'all should be living, but I ain't trying to beef with him 'cause he might put a hit on me like Keef D. Get him. That verse sent tremors through hip-hop. Eminem was overtly alluding to the long-standing rumors about Diddy's supposed involvement in the murders of Tupac and Biggie, a subject most artists wouldn't dare approach. But M didn't stop there. On the Fuel remix, Music, he advanced the storyline even more, rapping that Biggie's death was merely the domino effect of Tupac's murder. It was audacious, eerie, and strikingly detailed. Fans couldn't believe he verbalized it so explicitly, and the internet erupted with theories yet again. Eminem wasn't just agitating the situation. He was igniting one of hip-hop's most shadowy conspiracies. After everything Eminem expressed about Diddy on the death of Slim Shady, it's abundantly clear. These two are not on amicable terms. There's no backstage reconciliation awaiting. No hidden peace agreement. Eminem's allegiance has always remained with 50 Cent. And that means he'll never align himself beside Diddy. Not publicly. Not privately. And from the appearances, Diddy's taking it personally as well. After 50 Cent released his documentary uncovering old industry secrets, Diddy reportedly sent him funeral flowers, a gesture that seemed more like a warning than a kindness. So, Music. Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if Diddy's harboring some bitterness toward Eminem too. All of this simply demonstrates one thing. Eminem's never been afraid of anybody. Whether it was Suge Knight back in the day or Diddy now, Marshall Mathers has always confronted power directly, never retreating, no matter who's standing in front of him. If you thought this story was wild, just wait until you see what's next. The next video dives even deeper into the chaos, exposing people you probably had no idea were connected to all this drama. Go check it out right now and let us know what you think after watching. Trust me, it gets crazier from here. But before you go, what's your take on this whole situation between Eminem and Diddy? Do you think it's all just lyrical shots, or is there some real tension hiding behind the bars? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your side of